Now we're getting to the good part. This is the fourth time that we've put student panel at the heart of our program. And from the feedback we've heard, you like it too. Grade Ed has made elevating student voice one of our top priorities for several years. And I will quote Laquita Walker, our project manager for ESWN, whose motto has always been since I have met her, don't plan about us without us. Let's say that. Don't plan about us without us. And what does that mean? That means that we have to have people who are doing this work in the room to talk about this, right? You can't do stuff to people without their input. And this is what it's all about. We know that we can't define and create authentically welcoming schools if our students are not at the center of this process. So, I'm so excited for this. Without further ado, I am excited and truly honored to introduce to you Janet Damon, the history teacher at Delta High School in Denver, and, hello, Colorado's 2025 Teacher of the Year. Hold on, and the National Teacher of the Year finalist, who is going to moderate.
Thank you all so much. I'm so grateful for everything that you've done for education, and I'm so excited to bring up our panelists today. So if I can have all our panelists come here to the side, I'll introduce you. We have students from across Colorado who are going to answer some important questions for us. So can we have, yes, thank you. Go ahead and come up on stage for me. Yes, Roy Bell, Itzel, Jeremiah, Soren, Zion, and Delilah. Thank you. And I'm just going to ground us in this idea that wherever the children and the young people are, that truly is the center and the heartbeat of this village, right? And so just know we appreciate your courage as you come up to share some of your lived experiences. And for each question, I'll just start on a different side. So Itzel, I'm going to start with you. What are some struggles that you think that students are having in our schools around this time?
I think
Gotta make sure we hear every word.
I think students mostly struggle finding someone they can actually talk to, finding someone that they can trust and build a relationship with. And I think that's really important for students because I feel like especially as a teenager, you experience so much, and having an adult that you can actually talk to just matters so much and it can make such a big impact on a student.
Thank you. Delilah, can we come to you for that same question?
Okay, so speaking from my community, I believe that a few of the issues that students struggle with in our schools is having a lack of resources due to the poverty in our community, as well as having to fit into a specific standard. So when it comes to tests, students are basically students are encouraged to meet a specific standard, which is not always easy for them to do, especially when it comes to language barriers or having just struggles with learning.
Exactly. All right. Zion, what do you think are some of the struggles that students are facing right now?
I think one of the big struggles students are facing right now is a lack of, kind of going back to what you were saying, not having trusted adults in the space, for example, in schools, that share their identities, that they can confide in, that they can talk to about without a fear of being judged or, fear of being
what's the word, kind of looked oddly on, fear of being judged, right? I think having an adult, for me, for example, I wish I had a black woman that I could look up to in my school. I went to Oberlin High School. I wish I had someone who I didn't need to over-explain my struggles to. She would just understand what I was going through by lived experiences. So that's what I love.
I love that, by the lived experiences. And Soren, I'm just going to also honor that Soren stepped in. We had one panelist who couldn't come, so they looked over the questions, and we're going to be just a guest, but then they jumped on stage. So thank you so much. We appreciate you.
I think one of the biggest issues I've seen personally with my school is, especially going back to what everyone else said regarding having a trusted adult, an adult you can really look to for an example, an adult you can look to for direction. I think it also goes back to that when you don't have that sense of belonging, especially from that kind of leadership position, it can go back into extremely, we are like in a mental health crisis with students. Students' mental health is extremely fragile right now, in my opinion. I think we have a lot of different issues weighing down, from different familial issues, from stress of school, from a ton of different areas that kids shouldn't have to worry about. And I think one of the biggest issues that has impacted my school, of course, that I do live in a community with predominantly people of color. Our school likely is not being funded how it should, which is why this organization, I didn't even know about this. I mean, thinking about like some of my schools, I go to great school, but a lot of the time, a lot of the stuff might be broken. We might not be able to print as much as we should. We don't put as many field trips as we should. And I think it's just so important to look at these struggles, but also look at the bright side of how so many people in this room are in such a great position of power to do something about it. And I just love that. Yeah, I love that.
Yes. Thank you. Jeremiah, so how about you? What do you feel like are some struggles that students are facing in our schools?
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to touch on student engagement specifically. So at my school, a lot of the time, we're getting taught a lot of history that might not resonate with you, or get told about situations that you aren't familiar with because you can't show empathy towards it. And I think that's so important to have in schools, is like being able to engage and have interest in what you're being taught, because then that keeps the kids like they're engaged and happy and like being able to be one with the class and their classmates and their teachers. So I think just like having like a staple for the students, you know what I'm saying? Like making sure that the students can learn what they want to learn about the history that resonates with them, or have conversations that are uncomfortable but healthy conversations that can help them as a human being, improve them as they move forward in their lives and as they grow up. I think that's just so important, because engagement and interest is like such a huge thing, especially moving forward for students in the future.
Yes, thank you. All right, Ramel, thank you so much. How do you feel like students are facing in our schools?
Yeah, well, hello everyone, my name is Robel Bai, I'm a sophomore at Boulder. I think that there's so many students, especially in high school and middle school, that may be struggling with their identity, and knowing that first off, it's okay to be different, and second off, it's valuable to be different. I think for me, when I got to middle school, I wanted to fit in so bad. I wanted to be one of the quote-unquote cool and popular kids. I wanted to be like that. You know, I grew up in Littleton, Colorado, predominantly white community, so I was always one of the only black kids within my school, and nobody was like me, right? My parents are immigrants from Ethiopia, so I would even refrain from talking about my culture, my religion, my heritage, because it was different, and I didn't know that the value of being different, and it was okay to be different. So I think that there's so many students who are struggling to find their identity and falling in love with themselves and falling in love with where they come from and who they are as a person. Because, you know, diversity and differences between people can be such a valuable thing. And that ties back to students' mental health. At the end of the day, I think, you know, mental health can be something that students may be struggling with, and many students might not even know what mental health entails. So I think a combination of helping students find their identity, and also ensuring that they're in a good mental spot as well.
I'm going to start with you for this next question, and you spoke so beautifully about that identity piece and being in our schools. Who was it for you that helped you to really be grounded in who you are and really feel like you belong?
Absolutely. So I'll talk about my high school counselor, Molly Harrington. So I was a part of an organization called Youth Celebrate Diversity, which plans statewide conferences for high schoolers across Colorado. And there was much change that needed to happen within my high school. I went to Dublin Junior Senior High School. It has a stock population of 100% white people. And there were students of color like myself who were going through discrimination, going through stereotypes that happened right under teachers' noses. And teachers either didn't have the confidence to say something about it, or they didn't have the tools necessary to do something about it. So Ms. Harrington, she gave me the opportunity because she knew I was part of an organization called Youth Celebrate Diversity, and she gave me the platform to talk in front of faculty about what needed to change and what they needed to do. And she made me feel so valuable because she valued my differences and me being different within a school of predominantly white children. And she gave me the tools necessary to create the change that I wanted to seek. And her support made me be able to do it in the first place. And our relationship at first, it became, I learned so much from her, and then she slowly started to learn from me, simply because I provided her student perspectives that many students didn't feel comfortable talking about. And she just helped me so much, being confident in myself and inspiring me with motivation to get the work done that I think needed to be done, but I wasn't ready to help it get done. So she helped me a lot.
Thank you. How about you, Jeremiah? Who got it done for you?
I say specifically in like the school environment, I think it was just like my friends in general. Like I know that sounds crazy, but I think like I take a lot of like advanced classes and college classes at Range High School. And like when I have friends who care about getting the work done or like just care about the classes as much as I do, it helps us like come together, get the assignment out of the way, just kind of like, use our teamwork to get the good grade and, just get the class down, you know what I'm saying? So I think my friends was just like really supportive and like really helpful when it came to like my classes and just moving forward, like it was just really important to me. And yeah.
It feels like you said community, your community, like your friendship community. That was beautiful. Thank you.
For me, I don't know who the exact person would be because I feel like I'm very blessed to have gotten like a bunch of different people in a bunch of different ways. Like my mom, of course, Colorado Teacher of the Year. Going back to like, of course, my friends, my teachers, especially, I don't know if you'll see this, but Mr. Hoda, my English teacher currently, he's just really re-inspired me to start writing again. And there's something, when teachers have that kind of passion and when you can see that they believe in you, there's something so special about that that's just brought so much joy writing back to me, especially for class. And, I feel like, there's a lot of different people, a lot of different ways, and I'm very, very grateful for that.
First, I would like to say, if my voice sounds a little cracky, I was at karaoke last night, so did a lot of singing. I would like to shout out myself, I think, for holding it down. As I said earlier, there wasn't many people in my school, many trusted adults that I could look up to, so I really had to rely on myself and find creative ways to find solutions to my problems. I think half of that has to do with my more introverted nature, but also I had to rely on myself for survival. It wasn't my immediate choice. I would have loved to have a black woman in my high school that I could go to her classroom or go to her office and be able to talk about all these things that I want to get off my chest, but unfortunately I didn't have that in my space. So I would like to shout myself out for being my #1 fan and getting me through high school.
All hold on to that. Yes, yes.
Okay, so the person that I'd believe has helped me a lot is, his name is Dr. Walker. He was one of the teachers that I had my freshman year, who was somebody who introduced me into the healthcare field. He's somebody that, going along with what everybody else has said, that students usually struggle with finding a trusted adult. He's somebody that particularly is a kind of teacher that you could go to, talk to about anything that you might be struggling with. So in his classroom, it just feels like a safe space. He's somebody who really honors his students and honors what it is that he does.
Thank you for that. Yes, it's
For me, Mr. Charles, and he's here with us today. He was honestly a very huge help throughout my middle school and still continuing high school years, because he's a person that you can talk to and it doesn't feel like a therapist, it feels like a friendship. It feels like he reaches out to you and you don't have to only reach out to him, you know, he cares about you, he asks how you're doing, and he also opens up about himself, so it's not just like a one-sided relationship, you know? And I think that just makes him so special and so helpful.
I love that. Yeah. You know, I know our panelists, you kind of addressed those core characteristics that you looked for in your teachers. If there was one thing you can make sure you stamp right now for us, there's so many people who hold a lot of power, who are policymakers, who are catalysts for change. What is something that you feel like you want to stamp and have as a meaningful takeaway for each person in this room?
I think just knowing boundaries with students. Like when a student reaches out to you and you don't know what to do, make sure you know what their home life is like, you know, not to report something immediately, but to realize their surroundings and to kind of analyze that before you do anything about it. Take steps to think about what you can do for the students instead of immediately just going to authorities and reporting and things like that. I feel like it's so important because most students don't have a safe home or can just not have anywhere to talk to at home.
Thank you for that, like that relationship.
So I just believe that all students should be able to feel supported no matter where it is that they are. Whether that's from home, at their school, just at any kind of building. Students should be able to feel like they have a trusted adult to go to or just have a safe space. So if they're ever having any difficulties with whether it's schoolwork, anything from home, that they have somebody to go to.
I would urge those empowered to really celebrate and not tokenize the educators of color they already have, as well as increasing the retention rates of educators of color.
I think those were amazing points. I think the biggest thing for me is just that us students cannot do this alone. We need these people in power to listen, and we need them to help. We need help with all these different issues that we're facing, whether they're spoken or unspoken. We need you guys, like now.
A takeaway, I feel like for adults specifically, is to keep going out of your way to listen to student stories. When allowing a student to be vulnerable with you and completely elaborate on their life and how education is or this and that, each student has something to share that the other doesn't. And I feel like each story is just as important. So just letting each student share their values and their opinions is just really crucial. And I think, yeah.
I believe that, you mentioned that there's so many people in this room with power over and oversee teachers and faculty. I think there's such a need to make sure that every teacher and faculty member is equipped with the tools necessary to encounter situations concerning DEI. Coming from Littleton, Colorado, I think that there's so many teachers who don't know how to handle situations, and although I'm very grateful that I was able to talk to all the faculty within my school and educate them on my experiences and how they can handle it, we shouldn't need a junior in high school telling teachers how to do that at the end of the day. And I would do it again and again over again. I would never go back and change what I did, but I feel as if, for future black girls and black boys that would go through similar things that I go through, there's a need to make sure that the teachers are equipped and have the abilities to combat that.
I hope that you are just hearing these words and letting it settle into that place in your heart that is moved to act on it, and not just into that part that's like, oh, what a nice memory or what a nice moment, but that part that is activated by student words. And I just want to invite each of our panelists just to again say, what is your next step? You are now moving into, what is your plans for the future, your goals for the future for yourself, if you don't mind sharing.
Yeah, so I mentioned before, I am a sophomore at CU Boulder. I'm currently studying finance and pre-law. My goals for the future is to go to law school hopefully right after my undergrad, pursue corporate law, and then transition to criminal justice law down the line. And of course, stay involved with work like this. Use Grad University gave me the opportunity to have an impact on people, and I think that's my goal in life, is to leave a positive influence on everybody I encounter. So doing things like this, being on a panel, and having an effect on the systemic and educational effects on youth, that's one of my passions and something I have to stay involved in.
Next step. So honestly, for college, I want to go to Temple University in Japan. Right now, I'm a junior in high school at Ranger, like I said, APS. Yeah, so right now I'm just trying to, get junior year over with, SATs and stuff. So I'm kind of taking it step by step. But I definitely have goals, just trying to take it, a step at a time. But I definitely want to try and get a culture change, go to Japan. Just try and branch out, you know what I'm saying? Just try and find myself somewhere else.
College stories, I'm not there yet, but we just came back from a trip in DC, and I would love to go to Howard University. I would love to live in DC. I think it would be a great opportunity. I really want to pursue psychology, maybe something related to criminal law as well, because I've been taking some different classes, different programs. They're really, really interesting to me. And I really want to either maybe go back down to not down, but to the beginning, to school, to help these students, build their way up. And I don't know, I feel like I'm figuring it out. I'm figuring it out.
My name is Ewan Hunde again. I am a junior at the University of Colorado, Denver. I'm studying public health, and I'm on the pre-physical therapy pathway, so I'm fortunate enough to be in a program that will send me to Andrews Medical Campus to pursue their doctorate of physical therapy program. Other than my traditional academics, I've been involved in the nonprofit world for about, 6 years now. So I would like to continue that throughout my undergrad and graduate school through programs and organizations like YASPA, which I'm here with today, and Platform for Women. And I would, just like to keep youth civically engaged, involving them in activism and letting them know their worth and how much they're needed.
So I'm currently a junior at Adams City High School in Culver City. So when I finish high school, I hope to go to college and become a pediatric nurse. And then, of course, I'm trying to finish off my high school year strong, keeping up my good grades, and then, of course, being involved in the most amount of opportunities that I possibly can.
Delilah's an athlete as well, there's lots of practices, and so when we were trying to set up the time, she was like, I am free on Monday night at 6 p.m. I said, you are doing a lot, big things, thank you.
For
For me, I also want to become an attorney for immigration. I think it's something I've been very passionate about for the last couple years, especially with our current environment. And I want to go to NYU Law School. And I'm a sophomore in senior high school, I forgot to mention that. But I do have big dreams that I hope I can achieve them.
So I just want to, I know there's some parents that are here. If you want to get any photo of your baby up here, please feel free. This is the time. I just want us to all give a huge round of applause. And if you have scholarships, if you have opportunities, right here, candidates, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, yes, yes, thank you. Yes, yes. Yes, yes. Thank you, candidates. You can put your mic here. You'll network after the event. Get your